Third pace.
What if I told you there's a secret arsenal of tools that can handle your marketing while you focus on the big picture? Buckle up, because today we're revealing the top automation hacks that will take your business and your marketing efforts to the next level. What you'll learn from Genson Glier, our guest, how to leverage tools like IntegraMAT and Workflow86 for automating various marketing tasks, the benefits and ethical considerations of using gray hat tactics in social media marketing, practical tips for integrating automation tools to streamline your marketing efforts without compromising authenticity, that is key, and more on this episode of Content on the Go. Hey everyone, I'm Darren Lake and welcome to Content on the Go, a podcast by Podpaste. Each episode we answer questions or talk about one specific idea to help you market your business or brand better. And we do that by making them easy to digest, short and concise, because we all have a business to run. Let's go. Remember the saying, there's an app for that? Well, Genson is the guy that can rattle off an app or plugin solution for any business anywhere in the world. Genson Glier is one of the most knowledgeable, well-versed human beings I personally know. With over 10 years in marketing experience, Genson has been head of growth for various startups here in Australia and worldwide. He's also co-founded AI App Tactic as well as a few other companies. Let's get into it. With this episode, we are talking about using tools to automate your marketing. We've got a list of tools here. I want to jump in and rattle them off. TextAU.com, GPZweb.com. You know so many of these. It is absolutely amazing. I've never heard of most of them. I want to Google them, but tell me more about these actual tools to automate your marketing efforts. So this isn't we touched on actually getting to your first 100 users. We touched on content creation. This is actually automating marketing. And that's a different kind of filter, a different kind of lens hat that you have to put on. So I guess let's start from the beginning. What is automating your marketing before we get into the tools?
Yeah, sure. So you're never going to 100% automate everything, but there are certain things that you can automate. So this might be certain growth tactics, as we discussed in a previous episode, of like content generation, or this might be the automation of posting, or this might be like additional plugins and connections to remind you or automate some services. It could be as simple as creating a drip campaign and an email flow. Could be as easy as that. Or it could be something a little bit more complex, such as creating artificially organic social media engagement. Platforms we can use for, let's say, the former would be like IntegraMAT. So this is a Zapier equivalent. Now, IntegraMAT allows you to create sort of digital workflows to, let's say, schedule, post, scrape information, enrich data. The options are completely limited to your own imagination. Now, Workflow86, this is, say, like an automated scraping tool. So you might, say, for example, want to scrape a whole list of companies that you want to reach out on LinkedIn. You would use a tool such as this. And then, of course, Airtable, like you could plug it into Google Sheets, but then you might want to use Airtable where you can just connect it via an API. So these are going to automate like 80% of your marketing activities, but you'll still have to import, say, the creative side or choosing which, images that you've generated that you want to post, or understanding like it allows you to dedicate more time to the creativity or the authenticity part of it, and not have to worry about, say, the operations or the internal workflows. If we're talking about TextAU or Phantom Buster or GPZweb, these are more like platforms where we can automate artificial social media engagement. So let's say, for example, you want to target your competitors' audience lists. You might scrape their Instagram following, and then on that following, you might connect your own Instagram account and then set it so you're auto-viewing, you're auto-liking, you're auto-commenting on your competitors' followers. So then, in fact, you're piggybacking off their success. And they're getting exposure, their audience is getting exposure to your brand or your product or your service. Say, for example, you can scrape Facebook groups. This is all like gray hat tactics where anything in the public forum you have access to utilize. When you start commercializing on it, that's a different different scenario. So
just before you,
yeah, go for it.
So gray hat, there's white hat and there's black hat, and white hat is fully morally legal things that you can do, and then there's black hat, which is the hackers that are trying to steal your credit card information, etc. Gray hat is
a little in between.
Is it morally wrong? No, but will the platforms like Instagram and Facebook and probably TikTok, will they be happy about this? No. So what you're doing, it's not legally wrong, it's not morally wrong, but it's more like you might get banned if they somehow find out.
Yeah, so you've got to be really aware of like platform limits, like how many posts you can like in a day, how many times you can sort of interact with certain individuals. Like say, for example, LinkedIn has a cap of like 50 connections per day. Or if you're paying, you can do up to 400. So it really depends on the platform, understanding how you can sort of manage said platform in a way that's, within limits. Yeah.
All right. So we've got all those cool apps and tools. Any cost associated with them? These sound like, even though I love my technology, these sound like the learning curve for some of these might be a bit wacky, in particular the ones that are scraping. And it's not like this super robust software that is built for everyone, has been tried and tested with millions of users. Like, I feel like things are going to get a bit icky in the middle. So what would you say, maybe pick a couple as an example for cost and time cost?
Like, each one's going to have a variety of different learning curves. So the costs will just be a standard monthly subscription, nothing crazy. You're not talking like hundreds, you're talking like, $10-20 here and there. But it does add up the more you build your stack. So you got to be aware of that. With platforms such as Workflow86 and Phantom Buster, they've got great tutorials. So, it's easy to learn. It's just more about the time and dedication. Worst case scenario, you can actually find someone on like Freelancer, Upwork, or even Fiverr that'll have this sort of skill set. So if you need to like, this is like too heavy for me, not my vibe, just get someone else to do it, delegate, fucking great. But like IntegraMAT, you will want to invest time initially, but then that's going to save you so much time long term.
All right, so I'm going to end it there because we have learned a lot. I've learned a bunch. Hopefully you viewers and listeners out there have too. You can pull these off the top of your head like no other person that I've ever met. But since some of these are gray area, gray hat tools and platforms that you're using, please tread lightly, as Walter White Heisenberg says from Breaking Bad, because you don't want to ruin your brand you get banned on a platform that's really, really powerful. Let's say you get up to 10,000, 100,000 followers, and then you get banned because you use one of these. So maybe use it a little bit. And also, you don't want people to see that you're doing some spammy bot stuff, because even if it's 1 out of 100, people are going to be like, oh, you're whack. Like, oh, you're using that thing. You're not authentic. Not a fan of you. Any final words?
I'd say a caveat with that. You can easily use these and, not be flagged or within the limits of each platform quite comfortably. A lot of people do. But this is actually going to help you generate like a high volume of activity if you have like a limited budget or like limited resources within your company. These are good tools to automate as much as you can with them. Some of the stuff like artificial organic activity on social media, just take it with a grain of salt. Do you know what I mean? Like, set it up so that it looks like someone's just doing it organically, because then you don't have to do it. You don't have to dedicate the resources to do it, but just don't take the piss. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to grow immediately, and think about the long term.
And to you Americans and not Australians, don't take the piss means
maybe know your limits.
Know your limits. Yeah, know thyself. From Podpaste, you've listened to Content on the Go. Again, I'm Darren, and Podpaste hopes you found more insights and tips into your business or brand. If you've liked what you heard, please share a link with other businesses or marketers if you think they would get something from this. And for a limited time, we are offering 2 special services for people. The first is aimed at businesses that have never done podcasting and want to try it out before committing to a full series. Think Try Before You Buy, where we will edit and repurpose a podcast episode into 10 pieces of content for you for only $95. That's 82% off our normal rate. But if you already have a podcast going, we'd love to edit an episode for free for you or repurpose it into 10 pieces of content to show you what is possible. Either way, sign up at the link in the show notes or YouTube description below to jump on a quick 10-minute discovery call where we can brainstorm ideas or audit your existing podcast and help shape your next series. See you on the next episode.